Joe here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that three lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes in a new area. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 list on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast. Fans, welcome back for Working Fans Saturday, episode 42. I will be joined shortly by the man they call Dave and AJ Strangebrew. And after this intro, we are going to be talking about the 2 historic pay-per-views that the NWA is bringing to the Chase Hotel in St. Louis. This is where NWA started almost in its classic form. And it's big that they're returning there. So I'll bring the guys in a minute, and we will talk all things this weekend's pay-per-views. Guys, it's Saturday. You know what that means. We are talking NWA. First off, how are you guys doing today?
Oh, National Wrestling Alliance, baby. Ric Flair coming out tomorrow night. Woo! 73,
wow.
Baby.
Yeah, that's great. Who cares about that old son of a bitch? We've got Empowerrr tonight, baby. It's the ladies of wrestling, NWA. We've got the best women from around the world coming together for a pay-per-view. And it's going to be awesome tonight.
Man, you a Flair mark from way back. How you going to do them dirty like that?
Yeah, now topping this Empowerrr pay-per-view, the big fight, NWA women's title, Camille versus Layla Hirsch. They did a good job of working their way up to this on AEW as well as NWA. What do you guys think? Who do you got winning?
Got that Rey Mysterio, Kevin Nash vibe to it.
That match is going to be legit.
I'm going with Big Money Camille.
I think Camille holds on to it too, but I think it's going to be a hell of a match. I think that Layla Hirsch will work different parts of the body, maybe a leg, something like that, take her down, and it's going to be an entertaining match. Yeah, spinning toe hold.
Yeah.
This is a very interesting match. Obviously, Camille looks like she'll come out on top. Layla Hirsch, legit Layla Hirsch. She's great, though. She was on a blood sport. She really can show us what she has in the ring, and that'll be interesting. Right below that, we have what were you going to say?
I was going to say the fight thing is you're about to mention the next match. I would rather see legit Layla Hirsch versus Deonna Purrazzo than I would against Camille. I think that the styles clash between the two of them is not going to be as good, whereas I think the styles between Purrazzo and Hirsch would be fantastic, and I think Melina still sucks.
No, Melina's great.
Next match up, I was going to mention Impact Knockouts title, Deonna Purrazzo versus Melina. It's going to be a good match, but obviously Peraza is going to hold on to it.
Yeah,
She's been a beast. It's good to see her on this pay-per-view. I'm happy to see a different company's title offered up like that.
I think we're going to see Peraza eventually versus Mickey James. Like, James is not going to be the one on this pay-per-view because she's made it about everybody else. But, like, all the stuff she's been doing in Impact Wrestling, like, we're going to eventually lead to Deonna versus Mickey James. That has to happen.
I'm glad that 20 years later, Melina's best move is still her ring entrance.
Trey Miguel was a fan. So.
Yes.
Now, next up, we have the NWA Women's Invitational Cup Gauntlet, and that's featuring Tootie Lynn, Jamie Senegal, Chelsea Green, Lady Frost, Debbie Malenko, Bianca Corelli, Masha Slamovich, Genocide, Thunder Kitty, and Kiera Hogan.
So AJ lit up when he said Debbie Malenko. I'm gonna give you a little background on this because I actually heard some stuff today. Because I was not aware there was a female Malenko, and I learned about this. So
it's Debbie actually Malenko, the wife of Boris, right?
No. She wrestled many years ago, I guess, though. I'm trying to remember when. But basically, she had a knee injury. Go ahead, Joe.
90 to 93. She was trained under Boris Malenko, and she was a part of that All Japan women's roster.
Yeah, and she was set to be the next big thing. She got injured, and she decided she wanted to be a mom and hang out for a while. And here she is coming back all these years later. And I'm excited to see that. Lady Frost is another one I've seen on NWA.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you the rundown on all the people in this match that aren't NWA regulars, because we all know who Chelsea Green is. She needs no introduction. Lady Frost, Genocide. They have both been featured on NWA. Masha Slamovich has come up on the indies, so I think I
like Masha Slamovich.
She just did a match on AEW Dark as well.
Yeah.
Yep, I got to explain a little less about her. Same with Kiera Hogan. She just came off that great Impact run. But guys, Tootie Lynn at Tootie Lynn Ramsey. She was trained.
I remember her from Facts of Life.
She was trained by Michael Elgin and Sadie Blaze. She's been wrestling 3 years. She's out of that St. Louis area. She's held the CCW Women's Championship. Jamie Senegal at the Jamie Senegal is a trans wrestler, been wrestling 6 years. They've wrestled in CZW and they wrestled on GCW at Effie's Big Gay Brunch. Obviously, we went over Debbie Malenko. Now, the name Bianca Corelli, does that name stand out to you guys at all?
Oh, that is Santino Marella's daughter.
That is Santino's daughter.
I heard that today. Go ahead.
Trained at the Battle Arts Academy in beautiful Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
And it was apparently turned away from a WWE tryout. Oh, we got a Lady Frost fan in the crowd today.
Hey, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, she's great.
No, she has turned out good on these NWA shows. Yesterday I marathoned a bunch of the shows to catch up for this weekend.
She's got a great look. I think she's got a great look.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, she's been one of the standouts. Ooh, shit. This guy's bringing more information versus Riley Shepard.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to have to look that up on YouTube now because I'm excited for this ladies pay-per-view, but I think one of the things going up against it is I'm not familiar with a ton of the names on it. And what I like about it is that the NWA can put together a ladies pay-per-view like this where they can call in other companies.
I know Conan has somebody on this pay-per-view somewhere too, like from AAA. There's a representative too.
Okay. Well, let's move on with it because we have the NWA Women's Tag Team Championship Tournament semifinal with the team of the Hex, Allison Kay and Marty Bell versus Heels on Heels, Sahara 7, and Renee Michelle.
Renee Michelle, the wife of Drake Maverick. People might remember her from those WWE 24/7 skits. She's been in Impact, done some AEW stuff all over.
Allison Kay, bigger and tougher than Drake Maverick. So interesting matchup.
Her and Marty Bell are actually really good friends. I've seen them on social media together all the time. And who's Michelle's partner again? You just said
Renee Michelle and Sahara 7.
Okay, I'm not familiar with her though. So interesting.
Now, on the other side of those semifinals for that NWA Ladies Tag Team Tournament Championship, That is Red Velvet.
Look at this guy. He does.
In the
And
kitchen, baby. In the kitchen.
versus the Free Babes of Miranda Gordy and Haley J.
Yes.
Now, do you know about Miranda Gordy?
Yeah, well, that's Terry Gordy's daughter. And Miranda J is actually related to somebody, too. I don't know if Joe has that. I heard that
Haley
as well.
J, right?
Haley J. Sorry, yes.
Haley J.
Yeah,
Hollywood, I don't know anything
Hollywood
about her.
Haley J. I don't know her background. I just have seen her wrestle before. She's very good. She's very talented.
I'll try to look that up after. Unfortunately, I did not remember, and I was like, oh, hopefully Joe knows that. Nope. Okay.
Now, obviously, this pay-per-view is also going to feature the NWA Ladies Tag Tournament Tag Team Championship Final, but you've also got Kylie Ray versus Cheek Tormenta versus Diamante, which Kylie Ray.
Well, it's a
awesome
pay-per-view,
in-ring
so you
talent.
don't know if she's going to be there or not.
Diamante, awesome in-ring talent. I'm not familiar with Cheek.
That's the one from AAA.
Okay.
Yeah. So I don't think Conan's going to send over a slouch too. So I'm expecting big things.
No, and I think overall this is going to be a good pay-per-view. It's a solid lineup. It's interesting to see them introducing the ladies tag team titles.
Yeah. I think Mildred Burke, her title belt is actually going to be.
I don't think she's working. Dave.
She's not
been
working
dead for like 30 years.
They're bringing out her title, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, because Camille's been making a lot of references to the title being the Burke on NWA programming.
I believe Mildred Burke actually helped train Malenko, so it should be good.
I bet.
Now, that's tonight's pay-per-view. Overall, I mean, what would you say the match you're most excited about is?
I'm interested just to see was that tournament we're going to have to see who's going to fight the next night against
the Invitational Cup Gauntlet.
Yes, yeah. So just to see
I
who comes
agree.
out in that. It's just going to be fun to see these women get showcased. I think it's a great, event. I think it's a shame WWE never did another all-women's pay-per-view. That Evolution pay-per-view they did a while back was one of the better things they've done. It was something different. And I think it's great here because it's one of those things, too, where I know AJ's always championed the women, but it is cool when you have an all-women's pay-per-view because you're putting a spotlight on different people we don't get to see all the time.
I'm going to tell you who I'm hoping for. I'm actually hoping for Lady Frost to win that. I would love to see Lady Frost versus Camille. I think that that's a fantastic matchup, and I think that the fans will go home happy the night after if you get that matchup. I think people like Chelsea Green, but I think because of her relationship, I think you see a lot of her, and I think that people over the different areas have had their fill of Chelsea for right now. So I think
she's putting that work in. She's getting on Ring of Honor TV.
She is, and I have respect for what she's doing. I'm just saying I would rather see Lady Frost right now,
sure,
just because you see a little bit less of her, and I think that would be a great matchup. I'm not knocking Chelsea Green. I'm not saying I don't like Chelsea Green.
Yeah,
I'm just saying that I see so much of her that I want to see new talent coming up.
Genocide's another one.
Genocide would be fantastic.
I'm right there with AJ, where that NWA homegrown talent, where you've got the Genocide, you've got the Lady Frost, you've got. I watched so much of it yesterday
to me, a night like tonight is a chance to get over what you've done with your ladies division and a chance to actually build a star within your division. So if you take someone who's not necessarily in your division, like a Chelsea Green, it'll give you a name for the pay-per-view, but it's not moving forward your product.
I agree. And I think it'll be great. I think the only time you're going to really probably see, I think most NWA talent will go over tonight, with the exception of probably Milena and Peraza, which Deonna Purrazzo should be the one that goes over in that match.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Now, who do you like in the Kylie Ray, Cheek Tormenta, Diamante match? Because I feel like it's got to be Kylie Ray.
It's got to be Kylie Ray. She's another NWA homegrown talent, and she's the one they want to push. And she's even doing a heel turn a little bit possibly lately. She's had a few underhanded things. So I think there's a possibility you're going to see a bigger push from her.
She also needs it because of the stuff that did happen with Impact. I think people want to see more of her and want to see her recommit herself to wrestling. Wrestling fans like it when people are committed to what they're doing. Professional wrestling is all about commitment. It's what you give to it, what you put into it. And when somebody takes time off or does something similar to what Kylie did, and I'm not knocking her for it. Everybody needs mental health. Everybody needs, I'm not knocking that. I'm not
It's
going
just
heel
the
on that.
start and stop dynamic of what she does. You get behind her, then she's not on TV for 6 months, and then you get behind her, then she's not on the next show. And it's just like with us. If we took a week off, like we're taking next week because next week's Labor Day and we got to rest. But when
Sorry,
you're
baby.
not there every week, sometimes you fall out of people's minds. It's sight out of mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
Gotta stay hot.
Now, guys, coming off that Saturday pay-per-view, in an odd move, the NWA 73rd anniversary show is on a Sunday, which, is a bitch for me, but that NWA heavyweight title match, Nick Aldis versus Trevor Murdoch again. God, the promos leading up to this,
Good.
I'm ready for it.
And
Trevor
Murdoch has put
Murdoch
his
is
career on the
so
line.
real, former guest of the show.
And I feel like Billy Corgan has said it. Murdoch has kind of turned into their top babyface. And I think in
Oh, he absolutely has.
NWA, it's all about story. And that's why a guy like Tim Storm can come up the ranks there still. And that's why, even though all this looks like the star, I could see Murdoch catching him. And is it time for him to retire? I don't know. I don't think so. I think the story is Murdoch's going to get the belt here. I don't think it's going to be a long reign, but I think they've done a good job of building up Murdoch as that underdog. And I think people think he might retire. So I think there's enough doubt,
I hope he doesn't. This is the best push he's gotten in his whole career.
I know, me neither. That's why I'm legit, but I can see
He's
it.
red
It's not
hot.
going to be I'm shocked if he retires.
Yeah.
But I want him to win the belt. They legit. Again, this is great storytelling. They got me behind him. Let's do this. Yeah.
Think about it though. Trained under Harley Race.
Yeah. St.
Louis winning it there. That would be major.
Yeah.
This is like
Flair's on the show. I mean, my God, this is what I want to see.
But I could also see Flair aligning himself with Nick Aldis and being the one to cost Trevor Murdoch. So
see, I've been saying that for a while now. I want to see Flair and Aldis. I want to see Aldis show up with the NWA title in AEW with Flair as his manager and maybe cause some shit there for a little while and have that relationship.
That would be some stirring it up in the kitchen. Yeah.
Sorry, Red Velvet. Your mama's kitchen.
Mama's kitchen.
All right, now the NWA National Championship, Chris Adonis versus James Storm. Dave, thanks for listening.
Appreciate it.
I know how much of a pain it is to edit that podcast, so get back to it. Any little break we can get you is appreciated. Where are you guys with this Adonis James Storm match?
I'm a lifelong, I don't know about lifelong, but I'm a long-time James Storm fan. So Adonis is good, but man, I'm James Storm all the way. I want James Storm to win that match to take that belt.
I think Chris Adonis has done a great job of coming away from his character from the WWE, and it took him a long time to get past that. But he has done a great job. But like Dave, I am a huge, not lifelong James Storm since we're almost the same age. But basically a big fan of his also. And I think that he's put in work and he's surpassed by far Chris Harris, who he was originally teamed with in careers. And I would love to see him take that national title tonight.
That's not fair. That dude's dead, right?
He's not
no, only his career.
His career.
He's out there wildcatting.
Now, the next one up, the match I'm probably most excited for, NWA Tag Championships. This is a match I think they've been doing a great job on building interest in. Aaron Stevens and Kratos versus Mecha Wolf and Bestia 666. Since Mecha Wolf and Bestia came into the company, it was like when Eddie Kingston and Homicide were there. I don't know if they necessarily fit the NWA, but they're a great counterpoint to what goes on there. And I think they make great foils for.
And they've been teasing Kratos and Steven breaking up for a while.
So, although I got to tell you, one of the highlights of me was seeing that what they've done with those past NWA. They're doing the old vignettes like the NWA show from like the 1950s.
Oh, yeah. They're catering to you with those old clips and really trying to get you in.
Having Aaron Stevens and Kratos on those, they're freaking amazing on it. I thought it was very entertaining. And I do like them as a team. But I think this is the night where Mecha, World, and Beastie are actually going to go over. So
Now, I don't know if we've hammered it home enough, but this is at the Chase Hotel in St. Louis,
Yeah.
where
Lou.
wrestling with the Chase, something wrestling hasn't been there for years. So I think there's a lot of nostalgia for wrestling that's going to happen on this night. Like you said, Flair's going to be there for it. I think they're going to go all out in their presentation. Hell, when they did the last NWA reunion or anniversary pay-per-view where it was Cody versus Aldis,
Sure.
that was amazing. So NWA never lets down with these things.
yeah, it's going to be a great show. I mean, the next match on the card, for Christ's sakes, you've got Mickey James and Kylie Ray.
I
You
was
talk
just
about
about to mention it. I feel like that is going to be one of the standout matches on this
It's going
card.
to be.
Dream
And I
match.
think Kylie goes over the night before because she's going to put over Mickey James, I think, in this. And that's just because I think Mickey's going to be a player at NWA. And I think we're going to set Mickey up for a cross-promotional match with Deonna Purrazzo at some point here, too.
really, you think the wife of the world champ is going to be a player? Huh?
I certainly do. I think she's got a pretty good relationship with Billy Corgan, too.
Not only that, but former WWE world champion on multiple occasions and
Impact. Yeah, she's done it all.
Not to mention hot country music star Mickey James.
But look
Hardcore country. Blew up on the headphones.
I mean, look at how much they've used her name to promote this. They've put her on Impact programming to pull people in. She's been a big name. And
she might technically be the biggest name on that whole freaking roster, including her husband.
Yeah, that's not. Yeah, that could definitely be the case when you think about, the WrestleManias and just being in that spotlight for many years. I can see that.
Next matchup, we got the NWA Women's Championship. It's going to be Camille or Layla Hirsch versus the NWA Invitational Cup winner. God, knowing that Kiera Hogan's got to win the cup and go on to face Camille the next night, right?
I mean, that's a possibility too. I know AJ was
Chelsea
thinking,
Green's
Lady
another
Frost.
one that could be there.
Still hoping for Lady Frost or Slamovich.
So we'll
God,
see.
that makes that gauntlet so much more so interesting now because you've got a legend in there. You got a couple that you think are front runners, a couple brand new people. This is
if you're gonna do back-to-back pay-per-views too, that's a great way of setting up the next night too. Obviously, having those two matches.
Well, there's also so many great women in that invitational that it could go right, and that are interesting matchups that we haven't seen. So there's really, I don't know. It's just such a good setup. NWA has done a wonderful job with the setup.
Yeah.
Now we've got a brawl in the Lou. It's going to be Tom Latimer versus Crimson versus Tim Storm. God, that is going to be a big boy battle. There's going to be a lot of meat chopping going on there. I think that's going to be brutal.
I think Tom Latimer is going to be the one who goes over in this.
Yeah.
I think he's the younger talent that, is going to put him over. I'm always a sentimental fan of Tim Storm. He's just
the show.
Former guest of the show.
Friend of the show, Tim
just
Storm.
A great guy too. Crimson, he's been around for a while too, but I think this is Latimer's time.
Latimer is one of those people that's been on the cusp for so long. He's got that look.
Yeah.
He's got obviously the talent in the ring.
Hell of a great charisma too. If you've watched him on this series of shows leading up to this, he's been a standout.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a fan of the guy. I think that he should go over in this one. And I think it's going to be the best brawl that we've seen, quite frankly, other than maybe Dragovich or what is it?
Dragunov?
Yeah, I can't say Dragunov for some reason. I can't get it out of my mouth. Yeah, no, that's what I was combining. Dragunov and Walter, I think, was the brawl that this is going to be reminiscent of.
Let's not compare to that. That thing's another level. But fuck out of here. Yeah, it should be good.
Now we've got a 6-man tag match: Tyrus, the Masked Man, and Jordan Clearwater versus the Pope, Pero, and Odinson. It's not going to be a bad match, but I don't think it's going to be a standout.
I'll tell you what, though, guilty pleasure. I kind of like the Masked Man. I like the fact that he's this random guy. They're sticking to the fact that nobody knows shit about him, and they've been putting him over. And he's basically like a in shape guy who could technically wrestle. That's kind of funny.
I like the Masked Man because, quite frankly, to me, it's almost like a little tribute to the question mark.
A little bit of that,
yeah.
So to me, I think that that's a good thing. The guy obviously can work his ass off. Hopefully, at some point, we'll find out who he actually is. And I love the fact that they come to the ring with Austin Idol.
And they've been making Austin Idol, that Austin Idol Black Keys team, they're making that a really interesting lead up. Now, the only other match I have is an NWA National Championship #1 contender Battle Royal, but I don't have any of the names in it. So,
yeah, I don't think they've actually listed any of the names anywhere.
I don't think they did, and I tried looking, but I also did it just before we went on. So, if you're out there and you know the names, get at us in the comments. If you don't, get fucked. I don't think they're out there.
12-man Battle Royal. That's all I see everywhere. Yeah.
I mean, I'm assuming Slice Boogie, Sal Renaro,
Lady Frost.
Yeah. Dude, if Sal Renaro's in there, he's who I'm cheering for. Friend of the show. We love that
Our
guy.
pal Sal.
Yes.
Yeah, him and Colby Carino have been standouts leading up to this. The championship series has been interesting in the lead up to this. It gave some of those episodes that could have otherwise been kind of throwaways. They gave them some meaning, and it was interesting to see that tournament get created.
I like Colby Carino. I think that he's coming into his own, and I think that, like you said, he has been a standout with Sal, and I think that the two of them both are really coming into their own.
There is actually an indie event coming up in the next couple months where he's going to face Steve Carino.
Oh, shit.
I have got to look it up to see when it is. I know it's going to be on IWTV, but I'm excited for that because the more you see Colby Carino, he's healthier than we've ever seen him, and he's really coming into his own as a character. And I think what he's done lately in NWA has been amazing.
Yeah, and he's physically looking healthier too. I mean, there are times where he has looked just emaciated and not like an actual wrestler.
Yeah,
and
like
right now,
drugs or something.
Yeah, I don't know why.
So
but right now, he actually looks to be in the best physical shape that I've ever seen him. Also,
now, guys, do you want to talk any other wrestling news before we jump off? For the
honestly, other than we talked Punk last week, Punk was on Dynamite again, but I thought. I mean, we didn't talk TakeOver. That was obviously happened. Walter Dragunov, we alluded to that, killed it. But and it was great to see Joe win the belt. But I don't know. I thought it was kind of I thought we hit the peak last week a little bit. I thought this week was a little slower. It felt like
Well, breaking news. This just in. Over there on Fox last night, it looks like SmackDown did almost 3 million viewers, 2.9 million viewers.
That's fucking huge.
Last night.
Becky Lynch was back too.
Becky Lynch was back. I don't know if people were aware that Brock was not going to be there, but they hit 2.9 million.
That's huge.
On the first numbers in.
I want to actually point out something because we're always high praise for AEW and everything too, but there were two things I did not like this week, and I want to see anyone else pick up on this. I did not like the Big Show distraction finish of QT Marshall.
Nope, stupid.
Hated that. That reminded me of too much of a WWE thing. I was like, what the hell is this? Also, why is QT losing a match before? It's not like we believe he's going to win anyway. So why is he
have him lose on his way in?
Yeah, and another thing in the back, we always put over the ladies, but this particular segment, the Bunny and our girl Ty, I did not like the setup for that. We're going to do each of them. Just have the match. You don't need to go out here and have some bullshit. I'm going to offer you this. Then it leads into a pull apart fight. Those are two things that just stuck out to me this week. I'm like, that does not feel Dynamite-like. Like that's everything.
Not only did I not like that, but I didn't like the Bunny going over with the brass knucks either.
And I will throw you one more out there too. I'll tell you what I liked and what I didn't like. Okay, Malachi Black, I love.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like what they did with Brock. They gave him just enough offense, took him down. I love Iron even blocking the first kick, showing the legend some respect, and then he gives him the low blow, beats him down. I like Lee Johnson coming out. Here's what I don't like. It was not the way to end the show. It was not hot
No.
enough. Lee Johnson is not that guy you're going
Now
to
they
end the
needed.
show with.
First of all, he mentioned Dustin Rhodes in the promo. He didn't mention Lee fucking Johnson.
Yeah,
in the
you
promo.
could. Right.
Bring out Dustin and get his ass knocked down.
Right. You could have done that, and you could have set up something with that, and that's what I thought. Lee Johnson, fine athlete, that would have been better in the middle.
Nah, he's a great athlete, but he's not a fucking end of the show guy. He's not the main event.
I would have almost. Obviously, they positioned it like differently, but like almost if we had ended somehow with that Lucha Brothers Jungle Jurassic Express match that we had on Rampage, if that was the main event,
they should have ended it with Jericho announcing he might be fucking retiring, for Christ's sakes, to the broadcast booth.
Right. That was well done. Actually, I have to say that was one of the
but that would have been bigger news than having fucking Lee Johnson save Brock Anderson.
Yeah, it also looked weird too.
Shouldn't that Jericho retirement match, shouldn't that have been the 5th labor and been where that all left off?
Absolutely.
It feels like this is the 6th labor of Jericho.
Right. And also, too, one other thing, too, I want to say about that Black thing, too. We put Malachi Black over. Basically, he squashes Cody. And now he's laying everybody out. So why is he even backing away from Lee Johnson? He had a chair, too. So there's another thing I didn't like about it. Like, I guess I didn't really like that segment overall. So I just had to
they also took someone who has done anything but be a coward. He hasn't been a coward at all. He's come out and said what he's going to do, and then comes out and does it. And now you have him backing away from an undercard guy.
Okay, some other things I'm going to shit on. Becky Lynch possibly being a heel.
She did a good job with the heel.
She did a good job, but I don't know why we're doing this. But then again, the way they booked her, you're already getting a little bit of booze, so we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a fan of. It doesn't make any sense to me. But Bianca Belair is a babyface. Becky's a babyface. You just need some more credible heels. You keep beating up.
Why are they even on this? Why are they even on the same show?
Yeah, why are we beating up? Like, the only heels I know that are really strong on this show, besides Banks, who's injured, the only other heels are like Carmella and Vega, who like Liv was right. They lose every week. So I don't know why they're even here.
No, I agree 100%. That's it's insane. That's you have nothing. And then you bring in Naomi, who's a former champion, and they don't even seem to know that she's supposed to be on the show.
Right. I feel like that's going to lead to something. But yeah, I know what you're saying.
I'm sure it is, but it should have led to something that night.
I
could have given her a big entrance too.
I agree. And also, I will say one thing I did like. I did like Finn Balor showing up at the end instead of Brock. Even though people were saying I like Finn Balor challenging Roman. I liked that Finn's in that top push.
He also said that he still has some unsettled business with Cena.
Right, for screwing him over. Right, yeah, it's interesting too. Yeah, I like that, and I like the interaction with Paul Heyman throughout the night with the Usos, where the Usos didn't trust him, and Paul thinks he's like, in trouble to be fired. And Roman comes, "What are you doing? Do I got to open my own door here?" And he's like, "Come on, Paul, your family. Let's go. You get me the belt. We're good." And this is the whole thing where it's like, you can tell like Roman's like, "I'm not worried about Paul. Paul's in my pocket. We're good. There's nothing to worry about. I run this show." So that was one of the few things I did like. But yeah, I guess that's about it. Other than, like I said, that Dragunov Joe match, which was just insane. I don't know. I didn't think it was like a crazy week after the week we had last week.
I thought that it was, it was a good week. Like I said, I'm happy to see the big rating come in.
Yeah.
I think people are.
I'm happy Dynamite got big ratings too, and I'm happy Rampage got a big rating. We didn't know that last week. That Rampage did well. I am happy that so many people are watching wrestling again. Fucking it.
The only problem is when you have a big show and you put out a crappy ass show, you sometimes will have trouble following up strong on that. And AEW, while they did have CM Punk there and they did deliver with that again,
right?
And he did good with his promo again. You literally front loaded everything, so your front of the card was so much better than that last hour of the card.
Right.
So it's a little, to me, it was just a little miss. They didn't line it up right.
Punk is fantastic, though. He's killing it in everything he does. So,
SmackDown, they did right. They put Becky on first, so you draw people correctly, and then you put on Roman last.
Yeah.
Put on the big dog.
Yeah,
that's how you do it.
Yeah, I agree. But yeah, I mean, I'm still it's an exciting time, and I'm looking forward to these NWA pay-per-views this weekend. And it was nice to get the ratings in this week for all the shows, and hopefully the trend continues.
I'm also interested to see what Rampage is draw will be this week.
They were.
I
it depends if you believe it, like a tape. I don't know if you know they were taped this week too.
Oh no,
so
I know.
Yeah, so it depends if that matters as much as it does. It's hard to say nowadays. Fans seem to be very forgiving of that. AJ is not, by the way.
I'm not. I hate tape shows.
Yeah, he's like, you live or get the fuck out of my face.
Yeah, well, because of what happens, I accidentally clicked on it this week and read the fucking tape spoiler and realized what I was reading afterwards and was like, oh, what the fuck?
I think you might as well say what I did. I saw one too where someone said, it was definitely different. Mine was on Instagram, but it was mislabeled. It was like Dynamite spoiler. I'm like, Dynamite? It was live. And I'm like, oh, this is Rampage. And I caught the fucking Jurassic Express fucking Lucha Bros match. But I'm like, motherfucker. And I just
the match meant that much less to me because of seeing the spoiler. Knowing that the Lucha Brothers were going over, I watched it with very little interest and just kept caught myself fast forwarding the match. So
there you have it. All right. I think that's it for us, guys. What do you say?
All right. Well, guys, remember, we will not be here next week because it is Labor Day. I'm stacking beer. Dave's stacking bread. AJ,
I will actually be off for 2 weeks because I have to go to the Bahamas the week after.
Yeah, don't tell his wife.
Well, yes. Well, no, there's a huge tournament there. I'm hoping to win the Intercontinental title like Rio.
Oh yeah. Pat Patterson.
Yes.
All right, so guys, we will see you in 2 weeks. AJ will see you in 3 weeks, and have a good one. And guys, summer's over. Wake me up when September ends, bud.
Randy